I get it. It's a little bit weird to start a show with a full screen graphic of a Dolphins logo because you are watching the Packers Report. You are not watching Dolphins Today by Chat Sports. But we need to talk about Mike McDaniel because he is, at this point, hours away, possibly, from being let go, being fired by the Miami Dolphins. And in my opinion, I think he'd be a wonderful hire by Green Bay in an analyst role. And I'm not the only one who thinks that because there are rumors floating around Green Bay that if McDaniel is fired, Matt LaFleur would hire him, bring him to the Packers to serve as an analyst for the rest of the season. Okay, Jason Hirschhorn put out a great article on it. If you haven't read it, you got to read it because I could not agree more. We're going to break it down today and talk about Mike McDaniel possibly coming to be a Packer. For that, though, make sure you subscribe. 2 words. Why? It's free. Does not cost you a dime. You don't get signed up for any mailing list, okay? You usually kind of just forget that you do it after you do it. We're sitting at 11,771 subs, 229 away from 12,000. All I got to say, do it for Aaron Rodgers, okay? Love him or hate him, he won you a Super Bowl, so say thanks by hitting that subscribe button. The 2025 schedule for the Miami Dolphins has been it's been a tough one, okay? People are saying that they might be the worst team in the league, even though I don't think that's the case. They're playing like it. They lost their opener 33-8 to the Indianapolis Colts, and then they had the New England Patriots at home following that game and lost them 33-27, and now they find themselves tonight on Thursday Night Football in Buffalo. If they lose pretty bad, like in my opinion, I'm pretty sure he's going to get fired. I'm pretty sure this is the end for Mike McDaniel and the Miami Dolphins because it's been pretty bad all season. Hell, it's even been bad since last season. And if I were a betting man, given what I've seen from Buffalo so far through 2 weeks and from Miami and the fact that it's a road matchup for the Dolphins, it's trending in that direction. But Joey, where's the connection? Why are we talking about Mike McDaniel? Why does this even make sense to do? Coaches get fired all the time, and we don't necessarily talk about hiring them. Well, great question. I'm glad you asked it because we got a whole ton of graphics to talk about it, okay? Mike McDaniel and Matt LaFleur are a part of the Mike Shanahan tree. We'll go into that in just a little bit, but they've served on the same coaching staff for 5 years in their career. They were in Washington from 2011 to 2013 together. They were in Atlanta from 2015 to 2016 together. There, they coached, under the umbrella of Kyle Shanahan, who was the offensive coordinator. You can see right here, Mike McDaniel and Kyle Shanahan together, Matt LaFleur and Kyle Shanahan together. And since they've done all those years coaching together, they've always remained friends. They have very, very similar offensive systems because they all find themselves under Kyle Shanahan's father's coaching umbrella known as the Shanahan tree. There it was when Mike McDaniel was in San Francisco and Matt LaFleur was in Green Bay. Their most recent meeting, Miami, Green Bay. I think we all know how that one ended, but still, they've stayed cordial. They've stayed friends because they spent so much of their time coaching together. And they're very, very similar coaches. So a little bit more on the Shanahan tree. Basically, it all falls under Mike Shanahan, the Super Bowl winning head coach. It's a system known for outside zone runs, precision passes, and effective formations pre-snap. The coaches under that, Kyle Shanahan, obviously his son, Sean McVay, Matt LaFleur, Mike McDaniel, Shane Steichen, Kevin O'Connell, and then both of the Kubiaks, right? If fired, I would hire him as an analyst any day of the week, and I would do it without blinking. If he gets fired on Thursday, I'm sending a jet out to Miami to pick him up and bring him to Green Bay on Friday. I get it. There are probably a lot of people who think this would be a horrible idea because of how bad the Miami Dolphins have looked over the last calendar year, probably. He was a bad head coach. I'm not trying to debate that, but he's a hell of an offensive mind. And we know that him and Matt LaFleur, they're friends. They've worked together before. They have very similar offensive philosophies. And sometimes at the end of the day, the fun uncle is best at being the fun uncle. And I think that's what Mike McDaniel is when it comes to coaching in the National Football League. Sometimes You don't want the fun uncle to watch the kids for a weekend. Maybe for a night, but not for a weekend. And I think that's how it is with Mike McDaniel as a head coach. Maybe he's just better as an offensive coordinator, and that's just that. Because you need to be a head coach to be a strong leader and to have guys who are under you, those players, respect you. And I think he's lost a little bit of that in Miami because he's the fun players coach. He says funny things at press conferences. He dances to rap music. He wears a Rolex. He wears joggers. And that just doesn't necessarily work if you're a head coach. But that does work if you are an analyst. This also, in the last 3 years, it's been a theme in Green Bay. This has been something they've done a lot. Taken advantage of analysts being fired, coaches being fired in the middle of seasons, hiring them and bringing them to Green Bay. This happened just last year. It started in 2022 when they hired Aubrey Pleasant after fired by Miami. And then last year, after Robert Saleh was let go by the New York Jets, guess who hired him and brought him on as an analyst for the rest of the season? The Green Bay Packers. In 2025, this year, earlier in January, they hired Luke Getsy, who was fired by Las Vegas last season, and then they hired Nathaniel Hackett, who was also fired by the New York Jets last season. I would not be shocked if this happened whatsoever. 1 + 1 = 2. The one in this sense is the relationship between Matt LaFleur and Mike McDaniel. The other one in this relationship is this franchise having a history of doing this. I think it would keep the offense fresh. I think it'd be a good thing to get another offensive mind in there. I love Matt LaFleur, okay? I think he's great offensive mind. But he's been here for a very long time, right? It's nice to get a new set of eyes in the building. I also think it'd be good for Jordan Love, the wide receivers. Kind of for the same reason that it'd be nice to keep things fresh. Just a different set of eyes who hasn't been here before, who this is their first time in this franchise to take a look at things and see things from a fresh and different and new perspective. If he is fired, should the Packers hire Mike McDaniel? You let me know in the comment section down below by giving me a yes or a no. Yes, obviously, if you think they should. No, if you don't think so. And if not, no. If no, tell me why. Today's show is brought to you by our great friends over at Underdog. And with them, it's simple. It's 4 words. Make picks, win money. Look, guys, football season is here, and Underdog is the best place to make picks and win money all season long. Let's cut to the chase. If you download the app today and sign up with promo code Packers Report, you score $50 in bonus funds when you play your first $5. Playing on Underdog is easy. Just pick whether your favorite players will go higher or lower on stats like touchdowns, receiving yards, interceptions, and more. Get your picks right, and you can win up to 5,000 times your cash, and you can play with just as little as $1. If you want to follow my Underdog lineup, here's what I've got for Sunday's game against the Cleveland Browns. Give me the higher on Jordan Love pass touchdowns. Give me the higher on Tucker Kraft receiving touchdowns. And go ahead, give me the lower on Joe Flacco pass touchdowns. Okay, I feel like the defense is going to have another very, very good day. So download the app today and sign up with promo code Packers Report to score $50 in bonus funds when you play your first $5. That's promo code Packers Report. Millions of fans have already won billions making picks on Underdog. Will you be next? Underdog, make picks, win money. Must be 18 or older, 19 or older in Alabama and Nebraska, 19 or older in Colorado for some games, 21 or older in Arizona, Massachusetts, and Virginia. And present in the state when Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/playing terms _DFS _.html for details. Offer not valid in Maryland, Michigan, New Jersey, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. Concerned with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. In New York, call the 24/7 helpline at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. So before we get you out of here, we got to talk to you about the Packers injury report. Zayne Anderson, this is all from last night's practice, yesterday afternoon's practice. He was listed as a full participant. Aaron Banks is limited with that groin issue. Nate Hobbs limited with that knee issue. Josh Jacobs limited with an ankle injury. Jordan Love, full participant with his thumb. Bo Melton limited with shoulder. Jayden Reed did not participate, obviously. He just had foot and shoulder surgery. And Zach Tom was a limited participant with that oblique injury. I got a couple of takeaways from this, okay? No Micah Parsons on it. For the first time since he was a Green Bay Packer, Micah Parsons does not find himself on that injury report, okay? And because of that, I am curious about his snap count and usage. And I'm not the only one. Matt LaFleur spoke to the media before practice today, and he was asked the exact same thing. If that snap count's going to go up because he's off the injury report, and he said, and I quote, "We'll see." 30 snaps for week 1. That got a massive uptick in week 2 against the Commanders, not against the Browns, to 47 snaps. And I think that's going to take another uptick, okay? I think you're going to see that rise again. Because what he was able to do in those 47 and 30 snaps was really, really impressive. And I think now that he's off the injury report, they don't feel too worried about getting him back up to speed. And that's going to start with getting that snap count up. 49.5 snaps for Parsons versus Cleveland. Is he going to go over that or under that? 47th is max. Basically, you think he's going to get 50 or more. Let me know by giving me an over or an under in the comment section down below. Both Aaron Banks and Zach Tom were back at practice. Aaron Banks, funny enough, was asked if he'll play on Sunday, asked about his status, and he just flat out came out and said, you know what, I'm going to play the football game. From the horse's mouth himself, I'll take that any day. That's going to be a big deal because of Sunday's matchup against Cleveland. Look, I've said this before. I'll say it again. Cleveland, they don't do a lot well. They're not that good of a football team. But what they do well is they rush the passer well. They can stop the run. They got a really good front four. So having your starting offensive lineman back, at least having one of them in Aaron Banks, I think is going to be really, really big. And last up, it's good to see that the majority of those players are at least participating. I get it. You got a lot of really good players on that injury report. You got a lot of starters on that injury report, right? But it's nice to see that after 2 weeks of the season, a lot of those guys are at least limited participants. Now, we'd like them to be full participants. We'd like them to be off the injury report in general, but it's the National Football League. Sometimes you don't get everything you want when it comes to players' health and players' safety. So I'm going to take what we got right now and be happy for it. That's going to do it for today's show. You can follow me on social media at Twitter. You can follow me on social media on Instagram. And more than anything, make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Daily videos live again for Sunday's game against the Cleveland Browns. Make sure you join us then. And if you guys haven't yet, change that and subscribe today.